I want to take off from the carrier someday before I die. Strap that Viper to catapult and watch that sucker fly. 200 knots in under 2 seconds, that's my kind of fun. Dual barrel right after takeoff, just like in Top Gun. But I don't want to land. Allow me to explain and you'll understand. 'Cause it ain't about the landing, why would I care? You never have a crosswind and you never have to flare. You got 4 fucking wires, how could you miss? I can't think of anything that's easier than this. But once you're on the deck, my friend, you're never the same again. 'Cause you're stuck on a boat in the middle of nowhere with 5,000 other men. Join the Navy? I don't think so. Living on a boat? I don't think so. Hot bunking? Yeah, I don't think so. Do a night trap? Fuck that. I don't think so. Sure, I've thought about the Navy, but decided to pass. I love my 5-star hotels and per diem out the ass. I do all of my fighting well within the shore. Cable TVs and cappuccinos, that's the way that you fight a war. This spoiled life, it can roll. When the coffee ain't fresh, sheets ain't soft, the beer is only somewhat cold.
Wow. I'm already excited. That's awesome. Hello. Welcome back. We've got a show, and it's a good show. We have the Dos Gringos, Trip and Snooze, with us, the two.
Just us.
1.5 Gringos.
The Dos Gringos.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
This is great.
Snooze, you've got the normal background, which we're used to, but Trip, are you a mad scientist? What is happening behind you?
This is my living room. I don't know what your question is.
Steampunk?
Yeah.
I am at the Virginia Distillery Company in Livingston, Virginia. We'll talk about this a little later, but one of the things that I'm lucky to be a part of, along with Snooze, is this really cool aviation-themed distilled spirits brand that we're launching called Winglor Spirits. So
Right.
That's where we happen to be because we're bottling this week, and talk about that later because I know mostly you just want to talk about dirty music, and we'll start there, and that always leads to drinking.
Always. I mean, do you guys know you're the original influencers?
Yeah.
The original influencers.
You have influenced us into wanting to be fighter. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, like Top Gun, Dos Gringos, Iron Eagle.
I mean, come on. Iron Eagle, first, it depends which Iron Eagle you're talking about.
Valid.
There's 4 of them.
Sadly, there's 4.
Sadly, there's 4.
So
Yeah.
let's before we get into the music part, let's talk backgrounds. Trip, what is your aviation resume to date?
So I did not grow up around aviation. I lived outside of Philadelphia. Airplanes were a thing that flew over us, but I didn't know anyone who really did it other than my uncle had his private pilot license, and it took us up a couple times. But I had no idea about military aviation or anything like that until I went to college. So I learned about it in ROTC when I was at college, and then I was able to get a pilot slot. I went to flight school, was lucky to fly the mighty F-16, and then my career was your typical F-16 active duty pilot life, where a bunch of bases in good and crappy locations, a few staff jobs here and there, some schools, and then I retired out of Shaw Air Force Base as the ops group commander a few years ago. And I haven't flown since my Finney flight, to be honest with you, a few years ago, which is kind of a bummer, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes in the future.
Trip, was it in there? Did you get to do your Finney in the F-16?
I did. And my HUD failed on my Finney flight. And I'm thinking, I'm coming back from my Finney flight in a clean Viper. I was like, we're going to go 1v1 BFM, clean Vipers, Block 50s. And my HUD failed. And I'm like, well, crap, that's going to be kind of a crappy offensive BFM sortie. So I was on defense the whole time, which was still fun, even though I'm old and my back and neck hurts. Came back and I had a good enough landing to not be embarrassed without a HUD. But the family was all watching, and then that was it.
You're never defensive, only slightly less offensive.
I would like to say an old weapons officer of ours, Cy, used to say you're counter-offensive.
Nice.
Of course.
And Snooze, man, what's your story?
Let's see. So I didn't come from a military family either. My dad switched jobs a lot, and just happened to one of the things he did eventually took him to this real awesome place called Blytheville, Arkansas, which was at that time home to Acre Air Force Base, which is a P-52 base. And I was in Boy Scouts, and I had a scout leader that was like a lieutenant. He wasn't a pilot, but he would have events of it. And then I saw my first air show, and it was like, that's it. It was done. It sealed the deal. And I was like, that doesn't look like work. So, so I got into the Air Force Academy. I don't know if I was like, that's when I realized later, meeting this son of a bitch, that you could actually go to a real school, have fun, and still do the same job. I was a little bit pissed. I was not I was pissed, but whatever. So I went to the academy, and then got the mighty F-16, and did that for 10 years, and then I went to the dirty contractor side for a little bit. Then tried my hand at maybe trying to be either an entrepreneur or a businessman or something. Realized I didn't like that at all, and then now I'm back to flying. I'm just a dirty airline pilot, getting people to their destination 3 hours late. So
Gonky, he's you.
Hey man,
that's like the Gonky.
We got you there.
Mercenary, businessman, barely gets people where they're trying to go.
Yeah, that's valid. 100% valid.
Oh man. So music wise, where did this begin? Were you guys musical like growing up, and
well, are you guys
he was
so my mom was a piano teacher. My dad played guitar and a couple other things. So I had musical instruments in my house all the time. So I grew up playing drums actually, and then picked up the guitar one summer when I was just bored because it was lying around, and it was before the days where you just had a million things to do. My parents didn't sign me up for camps every day like I do with my kids, so I just had MTV, and I just picked up the guitar and figured out how to play all the things that I saw on MTV. And then I carried that through to college a little bit, and then figured that was a fun thing in my life. Now I'm going to fly planes. And then I found out that there's this guy named Snooze at the squadron that I was going to at Cannon Air Force Base, who also plays music, and he had written a couple of interesting songs. These were songs that were similar to the ones that I had learned in training that were from the Vietnam era that we had to learn. And we connected there. And Snooze has some pretty good stories about how that started for him. But when we connected at Cannon Air Force Base, it was right before we deployed for OIF, the shock and all thing. We had started writing some songs together, playing at squadron things, playing at the O Club, and it really took off from there. There's a lot more to that story, but I'll hand it over to Snooze.
All right. my musical background, like maybe, I mean, it's like my mother is very musical. She was like, played the piano, has lovely singing voice, and would it was like every Sunday at church, I would just like, I was kind of like, just kind of like humming along, like, and there's my mother just, I'm just like, oh my God, like she is singing. She's trying to actually sing, like make sure that God can hear her. I don't know. It was so that, and she tried to get me to take piano lessons, guitar lessons. I just have a serious problem with doing things repetitively. I just, what I mean?
That's a good thing you're an airline pilot then. Yes.
That's right.
So yeah. So I never really took to it. I was more into the sports and stuff like that. But I was, I still loved music. And then eventually in high school, I became friends with this guy who was in a band, and he was bitching about their lead singer or something, and I was like, yeah, you know what, maybe you know what, I'll give it a shot. And he's like, can you sing? And I was like, maybe. Haven't done it in a while, and yeah, they were like, I auditioned or whatever. I sang him something. I was like, dude, you're in. And then I eventually picked up a guitar and taught myself, the major minor chords, and never really learned beyond that. To this day,
that's all you need.
I'm pretty much, yeah. If Tripp were to say, like, draw me a C major 9, I'd be like, I don't know what that is, man. I don't.
Yeah,
tell me how to make a seventh diminished, and I'd be like, get out of my face. I don't know that shit.
So then,
I don't know, but I just picked up on stuff, and then didn't really do much. I did some songwriting and stuff like that, but I don't know. Just eventually, I was in pilot training. I was actually like playing covers and stuff like that, just kind of doing shows just for fun. And then once I got to the F-16 training unit, the RTU or whatever, at Luke, they were teaching us these, every week we'd had to learn a new song from the songbook. And I thought that was very interesting. But I don't know what song it was, to be honest with you, that they were like, you need to learn this. And I kind of like made a face or something. And they were like, what's like, what? It's not good enough for you? I'm like, I don't know, man. This is like really old and outdated and doesn't really apply to us, And they're like, oh, you think you can do better? And I was like, I don't know. I probably was drinking, and I was just like, yeah, I think I can.
That's awesome.
And I came back, I went home, and I think that was when I wrote The Wingman. So that was my first one.
Oh, perfect.
So could you imagine being an instructor in a fighter squadron, telling some arrogant punk, like, how dare you question our choice of songs that we make you learn? Then he comes back with that song.
But he delivers.
I mean, talk about calling your shot.
Yeah,
did you play it for him? Like, how was the presentation of that?
I showed up the next Friday. I had my guitar, and I played it. And I mean, I don't know if the reaction was just like, holy shit. It was more like, I mean, yeah, I think I got a really good positive reaction. I think that there was another was, okay, but do it again. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how Jeremiah Weed was born. So I was like, all right, I'll do it again.
Oh.
So I'm pretty. Yeah, it was the Wingman and Jeremiah Wade. Those were the two that I.
Did they stop after that snooze? Or they're like, all right, stop, just stop calling.
I mean, there's like eventually I had to graduate, man. I had to like actually
learn how to fly the plane.
Learn how to fly the plane. Yeah, I just.
Did you have students like as your background singers, like the other studs in the flight?
Some of the guys in my class, I think, actually did learn the song, and like on the Wingman, I think they did kind of like help me or something like that.
The challenge and response. You got to have
challenge.
Where are the Wingmen? I mean,
someone's got to say who's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so
then you show up at Canon and you're like, hey,
yeah,
I see you have a guitar. I too have a guitar.
Canon.
Well, you were ahead of me.
Right. I was 11 months in front of him. So when he showed up, I'd been there for like I said, 10 or 11 months, something like that. And by that time, I had a whopping 3 songs in my repertoire because I'd added Two's Blind. So,
which is a great also.
You're living the life as a wingman. I mean, you're we've all gone through it.
Must have been therapeutic.
So when I got my assignment,
no, it's just kind of funny that it's like, yeah, I was your sponsor. I was a shit sponsor. I get it.
He was a fine sponsor. I just remember calling him.
It was post 9/11, so I was just like half the time I was stationed out at Carswell, sitting alert for Noble Eagle. So, like when he showed up at Cannon, I wasn't even there. So I was like, "Hey, man, I'll get back to you." Like, I don't know, not really sure what I could do for you right now.
That's a nice way to put it. That's not how it actually happened, but it's fine.
Trip, what happened? Tell us the true Hollywood story here. What's the TMZ version?
All right, we're gonna go in reverse a little bit. When I got out of what they used to call the RTU, I was supposed to go to Spangdahlem, Germany, and that didn't work out because of some checkered past that I have, I guess. They said, no, you can't go to that particular base. You're going to have to go to another trade with someone in your class. The only person that would trade with me was the guy going to Cannon, who actually wanted to go to Cannon. So I'm going to Clovis, New Mexico, off of the German, the high of being able to live in Germany.
Yeah.
And I end up in Clovis. And I'm like, well, this place is awesome. At least my sponsor will be able to tell me like where to live, what to do, how to survive this place. And he's gone when I get there. And I call him. He's in a trailer playing whatever.
That's a lie. I didn't play video games.
And I'm like, hey, reading history books or whatever it is you do. Yeah. And I say, hey, man, I'm here at Canon. Like, what do I do? You're just like, I don't know, man. I'll be here in a couple weeks. Click. That's it. So I said, this is going to be great. I don't think I'm going to want to hang out with that guy. And then someone's like, oh, Snooze is your sponsor. He plays guitar. And I'm like, I'm giving him a second chance.
Yeah. And so I mean, like it worked out. I don't know. We started jamming and stuff like that.
In the garage? Were you garage banding?
No, it was just we were just
mostly in living rooms, much like my living room here. No, we would just and we wrote. I think the first song we might have wrote together was World War III. I think.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know. There's a few, and we would start to play at squadron events.
Yeah. Nostradamus. I mean, you guys predicted a lot of stuff.
Parties.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Well, so
hey, can you guys still hear me? Okay, I'm getting a weird thing.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe your connection's unstable. It might take a minute to.
There is
somebody's watching squiggly porn in the background, and it's taking your internet connection down a peg or two.
Darn it, Carlos. No.
So Carlos is doing the squiggly porn. But you guys, so this is like 2001, you said, but you're talking in the songs about Northern Watch, Southern Watch stuff. Was that? That's not from experience, then, right? Is that from just hearing dudes talk about it?
I think it was that. Yeah, I think it was hearing guys talk about it, and then knowing we were about to deploy to do Southern Watch. Wow. So we thought this would be a funny thing to write about. We're going to go to Southern Watch. and I believe we played it fairly.
I think some of it too. Yeah. So if you really think about it, and again, I don't know how. Like I keep, it's like every time we talk about it, I come up with a different memory or thought about this. But I'm like, I do remember post 9/11, we were like, what are we doing? Where are they going to send us? We wanted, because we all wanted revenge. You know what I mean? We wanted to do something. They're like, you're going to Fort Worth, Texas. And we're like, what? To what? And then we just sat there for an entire year, just flying circles, and just like, meanwhile, there were reserve squadrons getting in on the action in Afghanistan. And we were pissed. I mean, we really were like, we're active duty. What the hell are they doing getting it? Why are they going and we're not? I mean, I really remember that. We were pissed. And I think World War III kind of got born out of that sentiment of like, it was strictly like, I don't know, just like wanting to be a part of the action, and then in some sick and twisted way, like, what if it really got in there?
What if we got what we wished for, and then we completely screwed it up?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
It was awesome though. So when did I'm a Pilot come out?
I think
that was to the maintainers.
That happened. I think song. We wrote that at Al Jabber, right?
We did a lot of we were actually very we had nothing else to do for those those 5 or 6 months we were there, and
you can't drink.
We were pretty cool. We were coming up with stuff almost every week.
We really were basically. And
we basically roommates. We were roommates. Did you have another?
We did.
You and I slept in the same trailer for 5 months. That's not basically.
That is true. What I meant by that is that I never wanted to be your roommate. No. We had Oscar joined us when we started building up for the big thing.
I know, and I had to stop my hijinks after he showed up.
We were less prolific. But no, I'm just kidding.
Hijinks. Let's go back. Let's back up.
I was the worst. I was the biggest prankster.
He would put
if he every time he took a shower, it was a good chance that I was going to run in, grab all the towels, and just leave him a roll of toilet paper.
Yep. Yeah, there's a little bit of that because war is hell, and that's what you do on
deployment.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we brought our guitars, and even in between, alarm red, mop 4 or whatever, where you're like, no shit, putting on your masks and ducking and covering as if that would make a difference. You'd say, all right, we have a lull. We're not flying for 12 hours. Let's write another silly song. And then we would get the chance every now and then, really at the beginning of the deployment, and then at the very end, there was a lot of time to get together with the whole squadron, play our songs. And for I'm a Pilot, we actually we had like this big end of deployment thing where we're cooking burgers or whatever for the maintainers at the hooch, at the sand trap is what they called it. And
live at the sand trap.
That's what that is. It's sort of the O Club at Al Jabber. And we brought them in, and if you know the lyrics to that song, it's very much a self-deprecating song, which is like all of our songs. Well, that one, we were so new to this whole business. We're like, are they going to realize we're actually making fun of ourselves and we're not just being jerks? And it was a conversation we had, and we're like, we should just play it, and hopefully they like it. And of course, they listen to it, and they're like, yes, that's all true. You guys are assholes. Good song. But they, in a loving, endearing way, they got it, and that was really cool. Had a great time playing that for those guys.
Awesome. Every now and then somebody comes up to us and they don't get that we're making fun of ourselves. They're like, why you guys like hate the maintainers? We're like, dude.
Yeah.
It's not what we're making fun of.
There's like a helicopter guy in New Zealand or something that did something similar where it's like, I'm a fighter pilot, fighter pilot.
I'm a pilot.
That's right.
Yeah. I remember that because I etched in my brain as is the video where he's wearing the Borat.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That really
And,
was though. That was a song. I mean, we loved our maintainers, and we just never felt like they, of course they're not going to get the credit or the, they're not going to be the flashy stuff.
Right.
And every now and then you call in a code 3 and they come in, they're like, it works perfectly. I don't know what you're, I'm like, that's not what happened. Well, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as they even turn it on, they're looking at you like,
Could not
I demand that you fix this. It's critical. And by the way, I'm really sorry. I pissed all over the cockpit.
That's what I was about to talk about. The piss on your seat. That is such a Viper thing. I'm like, that jet's got so much pee in it.
Yeah, it's like basically a big piss sponge at this point.
That's what the vent's for. That's what the vent's for.
That's
Well,
right.
they got rid of the vent, right? The new ones, they don't have the vent anymore because they had to put the screen. And they,
actually, is there no vent?
I thought the block 30, like when they put the center display, they got, I don't know. We have to ask somebody. That's
Well, how do they
more
dry the
than
pee off then, Mover?
a fan. You've got to bring your personal fan,
dude.
That's the difference between like developmental test and operational test.
Oh, I love it.
Well, how did you get guitars? I mean, so obviously they're not going to fit a travel pod. How'd you get them across the?
Oh, our squadron commander made sure that the guitars got over there.
Yeah.
That was actually part. Yeah, that was part of the official squadron
brought
baggage.
We even brought like a little amplifier and microphones, and it all found its way in the corner of one of those big cases, those big pallet things that you take over.
So what's it like to have supportive leadership? That sounds very new to me. What is that?
Bergie was amazing. Bergie and Snort they were our bosses, and they took care of us like you read about. And they were, they're taking a squadron to war. This is it's what you do, and
So
it was important.
Did you guys ever have, like, if you came up with a new song and you're like, all right, boss, we're gonna play it for the boy? Did you ever have to like play it for him first just to? No.
No. In fact,
No.
it was best when we didn't play.
Absolutely, we love the shock value.
I was gonna. Okay.
We love the shock value. In fact, I mean,
there's a particular song.
I know, but
Go ahead.
I'm also going to say,
Listen,
one of Tripp's, one of his most endearing qualities is that sometimes he, like when we would debut a new song, or even if it's a song that we haven't played in a while, he'll start to snicker because he starts laughing at the line of it.
I can't help it. I've been playing Choose Blind with Snooze for almost 25 years, and I have to not listen to the lyrics when I play, otherwise I get distracted and I start giggling.
But we did one of our song debuts. We did. Bergie was drinking a Sprite, was it?
Yep.
And
Because you can't drink booze.
Boom! It just shot through his
Straight out of
nose.
his
He
nose.
laughed so hard.
I remember he tried to start a record company right after that, and he's like, "Sign on this bar napkin, you're all mine." And we're like, "No way, man!
He really did.
Got to get the music out there."
Could you imagine if we had made that deal? He'd own a piece of
all of this. Can you imagine?
of your living room where you're currently broadcasting from with the
That's
pipes.
right. We could have
I know.
hundreds.
I know.
Of
The
dollars.
recording empire.
I mean, so like, how did you go from dudes playing in the squadron? Like, were people starting to recognize you after? Like, hey, I've heard your music. Like, did you start to get famous after a while?
No, not right away. Well, we had a lot of squadrons went through Al Jaber during the buildup. Some A-10s, a lot of Hornets, some Brits with the Harriers. So there was some word of mouth there.
Mm-hmm.
But once we got back to Clovis, I mean, we decided like, what's the next step? And Snooze can talk through that.
Well, I mean, again, we got to give credit to Bergie, right? I mean, he was like, "You guys are going to record all this," and we were like, "That's ridiculous. Who the hell is going to, listen to shit?" And this was the day when you really couldn't like just record at home on a budget or something. You still had to kind of go to a recording studio, and to go to a good recording studio would probably cost you $10,000 if you got in and got out, like maybe a day or something like that. Well, we were like, You know, there's no way we're going to explain to our wives, you know, like, hey, can we have $10,000? You know, so we
But
found.
what about all this tax-free money that I
Oh
just
God,
got?
I know.
5 months TDY. Yeah, I mean,
So we found the shittiest recording studio in Lubbock, Texas, man. It was a guy's
It was a
basement.
warehouse, basically. It was a corner of a warehouse.
Where a guy had been chain smoking for 20 years. Oh man, there's so much cancer in those walls.
And we went there, and one of the cool things about Clovis, New Mexico, is that no one's got anything going on. So you could be like, hey, everyone, do you want to come to Lubbock and be on an album? And then some of them fly their planes in, some of them drive in. And we had this whole group of folks record live with us. That whole album, with the exception of maybe 2 songs, was just like one take with me and Snooze on the guitar, and sometimes a crowd of people around a mic.
I mean, all we had was
the songs.
We had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was it.
It was all done in like a long weekend.
Yeah. And so the other thing about that time, 2003, is that, you know, it wasn't streaming, right? You had to make physical media. And so when you start to research that, you know, you call up these companies and you're like, hey, you know, we'd like to make some CDs. And they're like, all right, you know, minimum order is 1,000. And we're like, no. Like,
how much
we're talking like, how much for 100? And they're like, it's the same price as 1,000. I mean, because, you know, it's like, look, we are not even going to like start the machines up unless you order 1,000. And we're like, God, we're going to be stuck with 900 CDs in our garage, you know? And, but we did it. And, what initially happened, which was crazy, it's like we created this really terrible website, you know, on one of those, I don't know. I mean, it was like the colors were like bright white and fluorescent green. It was the best we could do at the time, but it was not a cool website. And really all it was an address, or I mean like an email address. And we were like essentially contacting whoever the hell we knew in every squadron. We were getting the Snacko, and they like, hey, you know, give us 20 CDs. And so I'd be sitting there with, you know, these just shoving CDs into it, you know, going, and I mean, my ass was going to like the UPS store every week, and they were sending us written checks, you know.
Sometimes we had a written form on the website that you could print out, fill out what you wanted with the address, mail it to us, and then we'd be like, all right, Saturday morning, we got to go mail 12 CDs to 12 different places.
Wow.
We eventually were like, we should probably be, you know, compliant with the tax laws. So we started a company and we did that, bookkeeping and all that nonsense for these stupid physical CDs. And then eventually people learned that they could just get, yeah, right. Let's talk about chemtrails. No, I'm just kidding.
There was and honestly, I guess it probably helped in the long run. In the short run, we were getting pirated a lot. I mean,
because that's when the whole Napster and you could burn CDs.
Well, no, I mean, I actually was in the bar at the Gunfighters in San Antonio, and they're playing Dos Gringos. And I went and looked, and it was a burned CD. And I was like, "You sons of bitches! Like,
you owe me money."
We're like,
you know,
come on. I remember when Metallica got really mad because all the music was getting pirated, and everyone was just like, "You guys are making so much money. Stop worrying about that. Just give your music away." And we're all like, "Yeah, power of the people." And then there was
the rumors that, you know, like I'm a Pilot was written by maintainers and all this other stuff.
Yeah, two maintainers from Elmendorf, totally.
Elmendorf, yeah.
Wow.
Which they probably would have wrote a better song, but yeah. So, anyways, we have Snooze mentioned how we're worried we're going to end up with all these CDs. Well, the first CD, and then we did another CD in a better studio called 2, and we ended up selling out of all those and having to reorder and sell and reorder and sell. And then came around like the 2010, 2011 timeframe when we we had released a live album, and then we released El Cuatro, which is our last album that we did. And we have garages full of that, because at that point, people stopped buying physical CDs.
You peaked. We have peaked.
I mean,
is
the
there a
music
website we could send people to now to
if they want a
buy
coaster
CDs anymore?
they can have a coaster. Like, I don't even know where to get a CD player anymore. And so everybody had switched to either downloading MP3s and buying those, and then became the shift to streaming, where basically you're renting a song for a fraction of a penny every time you listen to it. The artists still get paid, but it's not the same at all. So there's really no need for a physical CD unless you just want like a prop to hang up on your wall, or you want vinyl or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's where the music industry is now. And luckily we've been very fortunate to have a lot of folks that grew up listening to the music who still listen to the stuff on YouTube and streaming services. And it's still somehow relevant in a lot of different countries, which I think is super cool.
Oh yeah. Wait till you get to our comments. We got plenty of people from other countries.
Oh, really?
A lot of Chinese spies for some reason. We don't know. We haven't figured that out yet.
Give them my personal info. We'll have a chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's another joke. So all my
at the end there.
Trip, I'm curious, man. So like when you guys did that album in the first one in the warehouse, is that when like Dos Gringos actually like became Dos Gringos? Like probably before that, you guys were just Trip and Snooze playing in the squadron, or like how who came up with the name of the band?
Actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, Dos Gringos, that was him.
I think hang on.
You're back.
You're good.
Can you guys hear me?
I
A little glitch.
I hated that name.
Yeah. So we came up with that in like 2001, right before we deployed.
No, it's not we.
My
not we.
No, I'm talking about me and my lovely wife. That's
right. Yeah.
One. So we had gone to this bar in Phoenix called Dos Gringos a couple times, and it's a cool place. And one day we're sitting around trying to figure out what to call this band of ours before we went and deployed.
Okay.
I think you were with us, Snooze, when we were having this conversation, and Meg looked at the two of us and was like, "Well, you're in New Mexico and you're two white dudes, so Dos Gringos." And Snooze is like, "Everyone's gonna think we're a mariachi band."
I actually, they're like, "Have you heard the Dos Gringos? Why? Why would I? What?"
Well, then we learned about trying to find web space, right? And it's like there's a Dos Gringos restaurant, a Dos Gringos florist, a Dos Gringos. And you're like, God, you know what I mean?
Turns out all the great, brilliant ideas, Snooze, are all taken. So we had to come up with.
Well, oh, and you know what? I'll side. I think that's a great segue into the whole Winglor thing when we discovered that people just buy up names, and.
Well, so that was going to be my next for your segue. Your Jeremiah Weed song. Jeremiah Weed is known amongst fighter pilots very well. In fact, I don't know. They still make it. I don't know that they even still make it. But I knew it growing up as a wingman. I knew it far too well. And then you make a song about it, which accurately describes it to a T. But talk us through Jeremiah Weed for those that don't know, and how that has translated to the current venture.
I'm deferring to my colleague on this one.
Well, okay, so of course there's the song that Snooze wrote called Jeremiah Weed that we recorded on the first album with all of our friends. Jeremiah Weed has an interesting story behind it, and there's variations of that story, but essentially, the one that I've heard the most and sticks the most is that in Nevada, there was an F4 air crew. They punched out of an F4 pilot and the guy in the back, and they survived the ejection. They land after hanging in their parachutes. They're in the middle of the desert. It's the 1970s. They're like, it's the 70s. We can go find a bar and drink to celebrate that we're still alive. No one's going to care. And on my way down, I think I saw a little town over there, and let's go over there, wait for our ride home and see what they got in the bar. So the lore behind that is they walk into that bar, similar to like that scene in Maverick, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some parallels here.
I don't know if they stole it from that story, but 100%.
I never thought about it, but I think,
walk into a diner. Where am I?
Yeah.
The difference is I don't think he was looking for a glass of water. They wanted some whiskey. And for whatever reason, particular bar, they didn't have selection. They didn't have a large selection of whiskeys at this bar. So the bartender pulls down a bottle of Jeremiah weed, which is a unique flavor. And it's not the highest end spirit. They drank it and they took it back with them in some way, and it became part of the culture of fighter aviation, and has since spread to the entire Air Force and even other services as sort of the aviation drink of, I don't know if I'd call it the drink of choice, the drink of necessity when you're trying to punish somebody for screwing something up.
It must be
or
frozen.
Toasting to something. Yeah. And so, of course, it's anyone who says they like it, they can put it in the comments. They can say they like the taste. They're complete liars, 100%. I don't care who they are. I don't care if Mr. Jeremiah Weed himself comes on and says it. But it's become part of the culture. Snooze, the song Jeremiah Weed took on a life of its own. And I think I'll let Snooze talk about kind of what inspired some of those lyrics, because I think it's really interesting and funny.
So I was at Luke, and I'm a student. It was just 2000. So I'm learning about the, I'm hearing the stories of, because for us, really, it was the Vietnam guys. Those were the last guys to go to war for the Air Force side. And the biggest name that you heard was Robin Olds. Just, who is this Robin Olds? And then all of a sudden it's like, who's Robin Olds? And all of a sudden the place just stops. Let me tell you. And then all this, the stories come, and then you hear about, some of the other stuff, and, you're kind of just soaking this all in. And then one day it just so happened that it was a Friday, and most of us are done flying for the day, and we wander into the squadron bar, kind of getting all right, we'll just, what's going to happen this Friday? And there's just a couple of gray-haired guys in there, and they're drinking all of our booze, and we're like, who are these sons of bitches who just think that they can just, we paid for that shit, man, And well, it turns out it was Robin Olds and Bob Pardo.
Oh, dude.
Were
wow. Both of them?
And
holy crap.
Both of them.
Wow.
They were actually there to speak in another squadron, but somehow they, all the squadrons at Luke were, within walking distance of each other, and it just, oh man, Robin was on a roll that night. He was just like, gather around, you pieces of shit. He wasn't subtle at all. And let me just tell you how it is. And most of the stuff that he was saying was meaningful, but at the same time, it did not apply in the modern world, but whatever, what I mean? He's like, what are you going to, and I always tell the story because he just kept shoving his fucking finger in my chest, like really hard. And I'm just like, he's like, what are you going to do? And I'm just like, I don't know, but please stop. And I think there was a moment where, it's just like, I honestly think I did have to go take a piss or something like that. And I'm just sitting there just trying to focus on just like, doing the man thing of like, this is my stall and I'm not going to, and he's over there. So anyway, what you got to do. And I'm just like, when you've got, 20 MiG-21s bearing down on you, you got to, I'm like, dude, we're in the, come on, man.
That's perfect.
And And so I think that was what got me talking, thinking of like, oh, all right, the greatest fighter pilot that ever I did see. I mean, that really is a semi. I'm sure my memory's failing me by this point, but there was definitely some truth to that. I think he was
awesome.
Yeah, and so it just, I don't know. It's a silly song, but it's fun.
It's super fun, and it's introduced. I think in a lot of ways, it introduced that part of the culture to a lot of people, not just in the Air Force fighter world, but other platforms, other communities. And I remember actually, it was like 2009, 2010 or something. I was at the Pentagon. Jeremiah Weed was still active. It's no longer, like, they've discontinued the brand, and they approached us and said, hey, we'd love you to maybe, play for our brand. And we heard you have the song called Jeremiah Weed, celebrating our brand. And I was like, you might want to listen to that song before we continue this conversation. And that's where that ended.
Oh, Trip, you should have taken the money first and then showed them the song.
Yeah, it's their problem if they don't listen to it.
I was just a kid back then. I had no business sense. So, over time, there have been a lot of people who have said, oh, where is all the Jeremiah Weed? It's not on the shelves anymore. They changed the bottle design. Basically, it got bought by a big conglomerate, and it's no longer available. And it's not to say that it won't ever get resurrected, but at the time that happened, a few years later, people started missing it because it takes that long to whittle down your one bottle to nothing and then decide I want to get another bottle. It takes years, if that says anything. And so we looked at, me and another buddy of mine and business partner, Easy, who's part of Winglor. I'm going to bring him up to talk about the brand. Me and Easy and Snooze actually started a veteran nonprofit years ago called Operation Encore, where we do veteran singer-songwriters. And of course, these guys are like brothers to me. And we started talking about, what do we do in this space that could be there you go.
Good join up.
Get him the mic. Yeah, make sure he's got the mic. It's over there.
Is that loud? So anyway, me and Easy had some conversations. How could we maybe buy Jeremiah Weed and resurrect it and figure out how to get the brand? And we started doing a lot of the math, and it, a lot of work, and it would be a challenging thing to bring to market and make a business out of. Not that we were into like trying to make a huge amount of money or anything, but you want it to resonate, right? Anything that you do. And so at about that time, Carlos approached me, who's our Marine fighter pilot, retired Hornet guy, who happens to be the CEO of Winglor Spirits. We started to have some conversations about similar things. He had reached out to me based on the music and hearing about, knowing me and hearing about me and Snooze. And he asked some questions about that. And about a year later, we actually got serious about that. We met a couple of times, we had a couple of calls, and we said, why don't we, instead of trying to resurrect a brand that, let's be honest, is more of a penalty when you drink it, and less of a thing that you want to enjoy, why don't we focus on kind of our shared love for community and spirit, distilled spirits and music and our culture? Why don't we pull that together into a brand that speaks to our community, but is something that people actually want to freaking drink, right? And so that's how we went after Winglor Spirits. And Carlos and our other partner, Stroke, had already done a lot of the groundwork and laid a lot of that in place when he approached us to sort of understand the industry and to figure out all the complexities around selling booze to human beings, which is not the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of compliance, a lot of legal stuff that has to happen, and they had done a lot of that work. So we joined forces, and I'd like to, are you able to get on here with your mic? I'll bring on Carlos as well. And so we decided, let's make a go of this. And that was a little over 2 years ago when we started this. So I'll introduce Easy first, and then Carlos, and they can tell you kind of their story of background, aviation, all that stuff, and over to you, Easy.
Yeah. Are you hearing me okay?
Yep.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm Easy. How you doing?
Easy.
Good to see you guys.
Mover, Gonky.
Great to meet you guys. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
I'm the Winglor aircraft diversity candidate. So a C-21, C-17, C-5 guy by background. So I'm the token heavy guy.
You got a HUD and a stick. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think it's pretty much the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
essentially,
essentially my airplane can poop your airplane out.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone's, but certainly mine.
Certainly yours.
not a mental image I needed, but all right.
We're here for you.
Yeah, thanks. No, that's awesome. Go on, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your introduction.
Yeah, I mean, so Trip and I go way back. We went to college together at Boston University, and we were roommates in our first assignment at Andrews. Had a great year waiting to go to pilot training. I obviously took a slightly different path in the aviation space, and stuck around a little bit longer. I'm a reservist, and have actually had a career mostly outside of the cockpit on the civilian side. In a whole bunch of places. We're entrepreneurs in other places. Like Trip mentioned earlier, we started a nonprofit, Operation Encore, about 12 years ago now, that Snooze was a part of, starting with us and works in still today. And we do a lot of work in both the contracting space and a couple other public service capacities, until we started talking about Winglor, this company that we've started and been working on now for a couple years with Carlos and Stroke.
Carlos, awesome.
Introduce yourself.
This is it.
So my call sign's Carlos. I'm the resident Goldwinger, also a diversity hire to some degree, right? So in two ways, Goldwinger and a Marine with that.
Carlos, they need heroes, man. It's cool. Gold wings.
Yeah,
cool.
that's right. Yeah.
Steady supply of crayons and the
That's it. That's all
bar.
it takes. That's right. Well, and I had half my career was enlisted, and then second half of my career was as a Hornet guy.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
had a little stint there as a JTAC at Anglico, which was great. And then really, so I'm kind of the anchor to spirits industry. My uncle started a tequila brand about 25 years ago or so. So I kind of was in the background, kind of seeing how he grew this brand from a small brand in Las Vegas, and it turned into something pretty big. And so I always wanted to do squadron buys. I was always asking him, how can I get your tequila for my squadron? He's like, oh, there's lots of compliance. There's this whole. So it wasn't really until I got out adversary air in Nellis, where I got my appreciation for Air Force just a little bit. There I met
Man,
Ruh-roh.
I know.
No.
Oh, no.
Squiggly porn.
Ruh-roh.
there we go.
We're being
Who's got
jammed.
the router?
We're in the middle of the woods here.
I heard adversary air is all I heard.
So
and then it
Stretch, I
went-
was like, hey, do you? Oh no, adversary air. So I was flying adversary air at Nellis, basically supporting. I was like, you know the Dos Gringos, and he's like, I know Trip. I've talked to. He's like, I don't know about Snooze.
We get that a lot.
But he was like, yeah, you should absolutely contact him, because I knew, of course, that was a part of our squadron lore, of course. There was just that tie-in. I just cold called him. I think he had just retired at the time. He's like, I got to get my head above water. Maybe try me in like 6 months. But, eventually we talked. We kind of all showed our cards, and we did.
Then Carlos went silent
I know. We're gonna just
for a little while.
But
So-
they've got a cool website, so we're
They
gonna check
do.
that out while we wait for that. They've got this over here.
I think we're back.
Oh, you're back? Okay. Sorry, I was tapped in.
I think we're
Continue.
back. I don't know.
Yeah, you're back.
That's okay. Apologies. Our cue is you guys start making fun faces. That's how it's not working.
Yeah, we're like
But
you go secure on us. It's like half quick. It's like we're
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't,
it's,
Yeah.
wrong keys.
So I'd say one of the interesting things about how we pulled this together is we started these conversations. We had
go on. You are on a roll there.
we started
That
these
was-
conversations, and we for straight, and then
If you guys go
and we're like,
audio, maybe you go
"You
audio
still want to do
only.
this? What's going on?"
Oh, we'll
Well,
circle back
I
to
feel like
that.
we're taking that personally, Snooze.
Okay. Well, Snooze, why don't you talk for a little bit while we work this?
I don't know. I don't know.
So-
No, you guys are asking great questions. Ask another question. I mean, like,
yes.
The deer in the headlights look. Okay, Snooze,
no. Yeah.
let me ask you. As your fame grew, was it a problem in the squadron at any point? Was it ever like distracting, or was it just day job and kind of, your Saturday UPS store stuff? Did you have
It was
haters?
never distracted. It was never. What's that?
Did you have
Yeah,
haters? People that just came after you because they didn't like what you were doing?
No, it's the biggest distraction was not that whatever I was doing with those Gringos didn't distract me from doing my job. What it was for me was like when I became an instructor pilot, I would have these students, showing up every month and thinking that I'm the funniest guy on the damn planet or something. And like, I felt like, guys, I don't have a joke coming out of my brain every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm actually not that funny.
Dance, monkey, dance.
When it's just, it's like, I can, you want me to write a funny song? Man, I'm really good at that. You want me to tell a funny story? I actually kind of suck. And, no, it was a little bit of just like trying to, hey man, I want to teach you how to be a fighter pilot. They're like, tell me about Jeremiah Weed. I'm like, dude, man, come on, So yeah,
buy
there
the
was
CD,
a little
damn
bit
it.
of,
Yeah, buy the CD.
you don't
That's
want
right.
to. You don't want to meet your heroes. I don't know. It's like, just don't.
Snooze, you come in with a CD and a pink sheet, and you let them choose.
Yeah, that'll be $10.
And it was,
Wow.
there's a little bit of that where everybody was like, just, you think like, it's, I don't know. It's just like, I still wanted to be, I just wanted to, I wanted to be an Air Force fighter pilot. Yeah. And everybody, but people would be like, I know you. And you're just like, all right. Slow your roll, kind of thing. That was a little bit of a challenge for sure.
One of the things that I think is funny is a lot of times people ask if I was the guy dressed like a clown on the album cover. Because most people don't know like your face or what you look like or whatever.
I get that all the time, and I always
Yeah, apparently people think that because he says it's me. I don't even know who it was. Snooze is an instructor, and
he was just one of my students, and he was the one guy who didn't have a flight that day, and I was like, "Come with me," and he's like, "For what?" I go, "Don't ask questions." That is absolutely true. He goes, "For what?" I go, "Shut up, just come with me."
Yeah, you dressed him up like a clown.
I just bought some clown makeup and some clown. I think I went on Amazon, just bought this shit, and I was like, "Just sit on this bench."
No, Trip, you're back, and you're in a semi-high def.
Yeah,
we're back. I don't know what happened there. We are literally in the middle of the woods at a distillery that probably, in a different eras where moonshine would come from.
Yeah.
Not because this place would produce that. No, we're really in a beautiful place. There's just sometimes we had like this huge torrential downpour, and I think that might have run.
Oh, trust
Some,
us. It's not a show without internet issues.
Yeah.
We know.
we have our turn in the barrel.
Yeah, we do. That's
Yeah.
Speaking of
we have
Navy
the latest
stuff,
dial up.
Okay.
have you guys gotten like a lot of interest from the Navy side on the spirits? Like, are you guys approaching
100%, yeah.
squadrons and stuff? Like, is that part of their culture?
All right,
yeah.
Who prepped them on these questions?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
No,
we're going to
no.
be a tail hook.
As it turns out, you don't say. Well, first off, I think what's interesting about Tailhook is that we got invited to play there 20 years ago this year, and me and Snooze
Wow.
went to Reno and we played. And one of the admin rooms, I guess, there was like an ice shot luge thing, and there were like 05s and 06s passed out all over the place in uniform. Like I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. And we had such a blast, but we're able to go back. Just it could never line up until this year. It turns out that we're going to be able to go there, and part of that is tied to Winglor and our what we want to do to spread that wealth and kind of get out there to the Navy crowd to the same way that we've been able to get out with the Air Force crowd in a couple of launch events we did earlier this year. This will really be our big kind of launch event to that community up at the GSR in Reno. Really excited for that, and hold on to your hat. I think it's going to be crazy at that place because we got a full band. It's going to be awesome.
Are you going to play I Want to Take Off from a Carrier?
I don't think we could get away without playing that song at Tailhook for sure.
You should, as a former Navy guy, you guys come up with some sort of blend and name it something along the lines of like the LSO brew or something like that, because there's been a lot of bottles paid to the LSOs when you're getting ready to go to the Carrier, man. So
right. Well, luckily our diversity CEO Carlos, he can tell all about what it's like to land on boats, to take off of boats at day, at night.
No, you guys nailed it in the song. I mean, that's exactly how I feel about it. So I mean,
Tailhook in 2005 really like kind of opened my eyes a little bit. But man, when I start, what blew me away though is when I started working for Lockheed on the F-35 program, and I was working with a lot of Navy guys, and I mean, we had so many bullshit sessions, as you do. Like, you got to have like 2 hours of bullshit before you start actually doing work for the company.
I wonder why F-35 is so expensive.
Yeah, that's why. It's...
Fat Amy song, anyone?
Whatever. Yeah, I know.
Anyway, go on.
And I quickly learned that I could be there as an Air Force guy going like, this is the craziest thing that ever happened to me in the Air Force. And the Navy guys would be like, bitch, please. And they would tell a story that would have my jaw just drop to the floor. And I'm like, wow. And they're like, yeah, man, like we're out in the middle of the ocean. We didn't have leadership. No one was paying it,
Valid.
No one was paying attention to what,
Valid.
Oh my God. I could not believe the difference between the Navy and the Air Force in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forecastle Follies, man.
What I'd say is
stories.
Whoa, Snooze, you've seen a Forecastle Follies?
I heard the stories of Forecastle Follies, and I had to what?
Yeah. The airing of the grievances with leadership. Nice, man. Well, that's awesome, man. I mean, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Trip.
I was just going to say that one of the cool things about being able to play music with Snooze is that we've played for a lot of different communities, right? Like that's a really cool way to make fun of each other and to like get together and learn what it's like for that part of the culture. Turns out it's very similar. Like basically pilots and aviators are sort of all the same. They all do stupid things. They all make fun of each other. They all do dangerous and fun and terrifying and super cool things at the same time. And then they all blow off steam in very similar ways. Maybe Navy cranks it up to like 11.
The problem with the Navy is that they think landing on a carrier is the hardest damn thing in the world, and I'm calling bullshit, man. You can learn. I was like, how many times did it take you to learn to land on an aircraft carrier? And I don't know, 50, 100. I'm like, I have swung a golf club 10,000 times. I still can't do it right. Landing on a carrier is not the hardest thing in the world. Stop talking like it is. That's the one problem I have, man. Just stop acting like that's the hardest thing in the world to do.
I don't know. The night thing, I feel like that's basically just aiming for a light and crashing into it.
Snooze is onto something because I can't swing a club either. So
it's all magic carpet anyway. Golf.
Yeah.
F-35, it doesn't matter. Whatever. It's all electronics now. But you guys actually, incorporated all the communities, because I wish I had a gun like the A10. You basically just go round robin and we're like, here's the best parts of everybody. Was that just known? I mean, but then of course you also make fun of them when you're going in for guns, so it's kind of a hit or miss.
No, I mean, we really did want to incorporate it. I mean, like, even, and this is one of those, like, we really love this song, but it wasn't a funny song, so it's not one of our, like, everybody requests this song, or like, hey, play this song. But like Boots on the Ground, like, we really were like, we felt like an obligation, like, we have got to talk about, the guys on the ground and stuff like that. And so, yeah, we really did want to like include everybody.
Was that one we didn't make fun of the guys on the ground?
What?
We didn't make fun of the guys on the ground on that song as much as
I know.
Like
it
the
was
Hornets.
kind of hard too, because
you never would do it. Yeah.
They were going through some terrible shit at the time, and so it was pretty hard to make that like funny. We really wanted to legitimately just say like, thank you for what you do. Right. Yeah. God bless you guys, kind of thing.
Much like you did with the Ballad of Thunderbird too.
Somehow the Coast Guard evaded our, our gun sights.
Who is Thunderbird 2 in this story? I guess not everything has to be you.
It changes every year, and that's the great thing about it. There's a different Thunderbird 2 every year. And I guess it turns out there's a different Blue Angel 2, although I don't know if they look left or right. I'm not sure.
Up.
They look up, down, upside down. They're, again, Navy does crazy stuff. But I don't think it was inspired by a particular person, right, Snooze? It was more just the idea that for an entire couple of years, all you're doing is this.
I did kind of like try to. I think it was Chambo's retirement or something, and he was Thunderbird 3.
That's right.
But not a lot of shit rhymes with looking left, so I was like, I just kind of fudged it. Yeah. Well, so much more stuff rhymes with right.
So you're mentioning names. I'm going to ask this. Tell me about the Heat drama.
Oof.
Heat was very hated and then loved.
Oh, no.
It was so manufactured.
He was universally loved, and I will tell you, he still is to this day one of our best friends. And we apologize, Heat, and to your lovely wife, Kara, and to your beautiful children for all of that.
That is.
It's really a long. It would take us 20 minutes to explain that, because he was a captain, and when we were over in Iraq, there's about 3 or 4 lieutenants, but one of them in particular just really Heat loved to push his buttons, and so this lieutenant just started like doing everything he could to screw with Heat, and then there was the whole, I don't know, man. It's like if I explained like the Snapple facts, like that would take too long, right?
Maybe this one might be better for the bar in person. But I'll just tell you, there were slogans about Heat that were strategically placed at various locations in the desert, and he would discover them. And that
don't piss off the LPA. I think is the real.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
But then you made a song saying, "No, he's good now. He's not."
Right, because again,
but nobody remembers that song.
Yeah. To build 1,000 bridges.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, when we released that first album, that song is a hidden track on the album.
Yeah.
We didn't think, hey, anyone would ever make it through that much dead time in a CD and listen to it. We didn't tell anyone it was going to be there. We just put it in there because we thought it would be funny. And we're like, this will just end up on a shelf somewhere in a CD store and nothing will ever happen. Well, turns out.
You thought you'd be in stores?
What's that?
You thought you'd be in stores?
Yeah, right. Maybe at a secondhand store. So, anyways, then things got shared and streamed and all that.
The pirating, the Napster.
pirating.
That's the Metallica
Yeah.
angle. I mean, here we are.
So it all comes full circle, and you know, Heat. I apologize, but I blame all of the pirates for all of that.
All right, I do. You know what? I do have a question for Trip though. Where did he get us back on our live album, which was probably our worst idea ever? But you remember?
I don't know if he got us back, but there's like 3 or 4 times where
there on the live album.
You can hear him in the background. You guys still fucking suck. Like you can hear him in the back.
Yeah,
between like almost every song.
That's where he got us. It's on our ill-conceived live album.
Oh yeah,
That is awesome.
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all is good on that front. We are good friends, and you know, what can I say?
I mean, the amount of culture you have shared through your music, including the dating scene, which we were talking about pre-show. There's a song specifically about how women are not drawn to Air Force fighter pilots like they were. What was that from canon? Is that just because of the location, or was that just because it's true?
So,
But
Snooze, I think we wrote that one in 5 minutes, like sitting in your living room.
Yeah.
And then we recorded it like the
on a
next
Friday
day.
night where we were home alone. No, go ahead. Sorry.
You're right. It was 5 minutes. I just don't. I'm not exactly sure what.
I think maybe it was just looking around at Canon. Now, you were married at the time. I had my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. It wasn't like we were going to bars in Clovis, New Mexico, looking for ladies. But it, I think, just became very obvious to us that all of the single folks that were out there, we would go to all these, you know, TDYs, and you have this idea when you go through pilot training, you're like, I'm gonna be fighting off all the ladies as soon as I get these wings. It's just.
I think and I'm not trying to bash on my first wife. That's not what I'm here to do. But I think it was it's weird because it was like 2001, 2002, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's like 14 years after Top Gun came out. But it was hangover from Top Gun. You're like, man, that's crap. They don't care, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's a little bit of that stuff like, I'm out there doing the job, like whatever. Did you walk the dog? Like,
right, mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn. Shut the hell up.
Why aren't you part of this big internet craze, making billions of dollars?
Yes, there was a little bit of that going on in my life where a lot of my high school friends were making way more money than I was working for Booz Allen and Dell and some other, so yeah, it was a little bit of resentment on my part because I was just like, I was kind of getting shit for how much more my friends were making.
Yeah.
But if there's anyone out there looking for a promising career in fighter aviation, don't let that deter you. You'll need a nice spouse.
Yeah. Well, we can tell one of you went to probably weapon school because there's a place on this bottle to take notes.
Yeah, there is. We
Yeah,
were talking about that.
And I was like, is there going to be a debrief after for your stuff?
Yes. And Mover, you're going to have to see this one again, buddy.
Man, I've heard that a lot. Why have I heard that so many times? I don't understand.
Yes, but it's actually, that comes from kind of the passion we have behind the brown water that goes into these things. And look, I'm not the one who can build the chemistry of it and tell you all of the complexity of everything that goes in the bottle, but we have really good people who know how to do that and have put some amazing things into these bottles that reflect what we love and what we think is good for the community and stuff that people will want to drink.
What are these bottles?
This is one of the bottles of the bourbon, and I don't know if you knew this, but I'm making this an infomercial.
Logo, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's this is a prototype bottle.
It is a great bottle.
This is what we're bottling now here at Virginia Distillery. We have American single malt that comes from Virginia's distillery, and then we have bourbon that comes from a different distillery called Southern Distillery, and that's being bottled now, and it's going to be available through our website initially for pre-order within about a week.
Yep,
we think
That's right here.
and then
it's right here.
there we go.
so that'll go live very soon, and then it'll be available on all the direct-to-consumer sites soon after. And then before you know it, you won't be able to walk through Main Street USA without Winglor at every.
Well, if you want to get hired by a fighter squadron, that's the only way. Right there, you got to show up with this. Otherwise, they won't hire you.
And this is not the kind of stuff you mix with Coke or that. It's high end, like really good
Coca-Cola.
stuff.
Coca-Cola for the people at home.
That's right. And
Totally
Jeremiah
not
Weed
feds.
is Jeremiah Weed is the brand.
It's a drink.
It's a drink.
Yeah, just
Yes.
has
Make good
has
choices.
anybody Trip? I mean, Gonky and I were talking about this before. No, actually, me and Deuce were talking about it. Maestro. Remember, he got in trouble for the gold bond thing. Did you guys like after the fact? You know, as the times they are changing, they come back and are like, "Hey, dude, those lyrics don't work anymore. We can't." You know, has there been any kind of like that? Especially you being going through that.
Yeah, well, the first time we ever, this is a pretty good story, I think. The first time we ever got in any real trouble, me and Snooze played at the O Club and at Cannon Air Force Base. And then Monday morning, flying's canceled, emergency pilot meeting, 7:30 at the Wing Auditorium with the Wing Commander. And we're all sitting there. We're like, what happened? What happened? And he gets up there and berates all of us and says, there are two pilots in this group. I won't name them. They have talent, but they have extremely poor judgment. And they got to tell us about how awful it was that we sang our songs at the club. The vice wing commander's wife was super mad at us because somehow she made it this far in her career and was just like clutching the pearls, right? Like, how dare you? So we got in some trouble there, nothing crazy, but we did get banned from the Cannon O Club, which I'm proud of that, I guess. Snooze, did I miss anything in that story?
The only thing
I
just love the memory of when we roof stomped their house and she was pissed. So pissed that we roof stomped their house, and Bergie comes up to goes, if any of you guys stole anything, take it out right now. And we all looked at him like, we don't have nothing, boss. He goes, stop screwing around and be your boss. He had this huge something for the house out of his flight suit. Yeah, he just pulls it out. We hated that guy.
And then our squadron in solidarity, this is at the time required to join the O Club, and they made you have a card and this stupid thing. And in solidarity, our entire squadron got together and melted all of their club cards together into one jumbled mass of plastic and put it on the bar. And that was the last that the O Club ever saw the Hounds of Heaven. At least while we were there.
So that was our first controversy. The second controversy happened after I was out, but we were really worried about Trip's career at this point.
Yeah, we had to go kind of underground around the 2010 timeframe.
Yeah,
and it wasn't directly because of our songs, but that was the time in the Air Force that the entire culture was under scrutiny. There were some complaints and some very public kinds of things. And look, to be honest, like there were things that needed to be reined in for sure. And of course, some people got caught up in the collateral damage of that. A lot of careers of good people ended. But in the end, I was able to somehow get through that. And to answer your question with Maestro, I don't want to speak for Maestro. He's a good friend, and that was a pretty tough time. But ultimately, when that came to light, he actually, as a wing commander, he engaged with it and said, "Look, this was a thing in the past that when I was younger, and And look, we do these things in the squadrons, but go and we evolve, and that's not something that would be appropriate now. And I thought he did a really good job of just hitting it head on and not trying to hide from it. It was just a thing in the culture, and just like a lot of the things that we did. So it means that there are some songs that we don't play, and there's some songs, but most of them we do, most of our stuff. There are some songs that are out there that are just not something that you'll ever hear me and Snooze get up there and start playing, just because it's not ours, and stuff that we want to keep, keep it light, levity, the self-deprecation, all of that is the most important part to, I think, how we've been playing our music.
Had that never happened too, there probably never would have been an Operation Encore, right? You guys.
That's a valid point.
That was a way to distract and move.
That's a
use
really
music.
good point. Yeah. So when that happened, we're creative types, right? And we're like, we got to get something out there, and we want to keep doing music. So that's when we started hatching this idea of the 5C3, the nonprofit called Operation Encore. And that where we weren't the ones like playing dirty music, we were bringing in veterans from all across the services and active duty folks who wrote their own music, and we got them onto albums and recorded and gave them opportunities to play. And that's still going strong. We got like 40 something artists now.
Yeah, a little over 40. We got artists playing in the Newport Folk Festival just this coming weekend.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gonky,
that's been
here's
a
your
really
shot.
cool outlet.
No,
That's
man.
right. Come on in.
I have no talent.
Now that you have
But
the
then,
beard and you're uncancelable. Sorry, go ahead.
Fight it's on is what I'm gonna say. Like, all I care about is not getting anyone else. They're cool, and it makes sense for what we're doing. Like schedule wise, we like to play. We just, of course, life is tough to schedule things. We like to play when we can, and I was never super concerned with my career. In fact, I was very lucky to ever make it past where I did, and I never, if they would have ended it because of the music, I would have had no regrets. But luckily they let me keep going. And now that I'm out, it's really just, look, the risk is on you guys.
Yeah. Well,
Be careful what you wish for.
I think you only made it as far as you did because of the music. Let's be honest.
That's 100%. Yeah. I don't think I could have made it much farther. I barely made it that far. So
are you writing new songs for the next generation of sensitive new age pilot?
I wouldn't know where to start.
It's tough.
I wouldn't know. It's like
Snooze is always like.
I mean, like I want that. I want that generation. You guys. No, I mean it would it'd just be like it. I really don't. I don't think I could speak for the next generation or whatever. I don't.
So
know
you're Robin Olds now. In this story, we've come full circle. And you're the guy in the bathroom poking people in the chest.
I might just, lightly tap, but
making it awkward at the urinal.
No more Jane Fonda stickers.
I actually think there's something to what Snooze said. Like it has to come. Everything that we ever wrote and Snooze wrote before I knew him, it all came from something genuine and organic. Mm-hmm. And at this point, like. I don't have anything to really complain about. There's what am I going to write about? So from my perspective, I still love playing music, but the spark has to be lit by something funny and relatable that other people can relate with and laugh about. And I think now it's just a little bit tough to do that, and you don't want to force it.
Yeah. If somebody
we
came
applaud
to me
the
and
next
said,
generation of creative people.
help me write something or something like that, I'd be fine with that. But I'm not gonna, the inspiration is not gonna come from. I'm so far removed from that stuff. I don't know what pisses people off. What you
could play airline songs.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So I was down in other ops.
So
for my Airbus.
This is what people have to understand. What they don't, you have look. This is the truth. I'm laying out the truth on you. In order to make fun of something in this kind of environment, you have to respect it. You got to love it.
I love
Perfect,
it.
Snooze.
I love
That is
it. I
perfect,
love
dude.
that.
That is
That
absolutely
beautiful.
perfect.
Beautiful. You're my hero.
Oh, I can totally
that was-
relate. Make
was
that
the
song.
best. That was the best. Buy their spirit so he doesn't have to do that anymore.
Oh, exactly.
Do you play birthday parties if you're trying to make some extra camera? We do have some stuff from the audience, questions for you guys that we've been neglecting. Joe says, Snooze and Trip, many a work trip was spent listening to your songs. Thank you. So they appreciate that. And then from an AC-130 gunner, going in for guns was his favorite, says Door Gunner. So, and then
I mean, he really only had the one option.
Yeah. Well, Admiral General Aladdin, not Iranian spy, says, hello, Dos Gringos. Very funny. Do U.S. pilots really rub one out in their plane? In my Air Force, we have planes that do that automatically.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a regular.
I had no idea they were so advanced.
Mm-hmm. It's that plywood aircraft that they made. I think Iran debuted it like 10 years ago. It still hasn't flown. Clutch 69er says, Mover and Gonky, first time chatter. You guys rock. Trip Snooze also rock. Missed your mile high sellout. Please return to Colorado. You guys forged more flyers and memories than you know. Cheers all. That is a true statement.
Oh, thank you.
You guys,
that was fun.
Yeah. Bonehead says, hey, love the show. Gonky, you can answer this later.
That's your favorite mine right now.
Yeah.
Fear of the dark.
Number of the beast.
Trip and Stu seem like cool dudes. You have to check out the music. What's your favorite song, each of you, that you've written and produced? And
Trip, you go first.
Oh my gosh. The one that is my favorite that we produced, I probably won't say here. That's another one for the bar. My favorite song to probably play with Snooze it's got to be either Shave Dog's Ass or Two's Blind. It's a tough one.
That's a Navy call sign. That's such 100%. A Navy call sign.
I told Mover that. I was like, there's no way that's an Air Force call sign. It could be a Navy one.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting story that we should talk about. And then Snooze, you got to say your favorites. But I'll just tell the Shave Dog's Ass background if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. That was was actually a question.
Yeah. So this is the legend of SDA, Shave Dog's Ass, which we've actually got what we call a mocktail, which is our version of a cocktail.
We put the boom back in
with the
mocktails, right?
Put the boom in it. Yeah. For Winglor, and it's to honor Shave Dog's Ass, which is when the Air Force side, when you name the new group of mission ready pilots, and the vaults are in a back room, there's a big chalkboard or whiteboard where people will write ideas for people's names. Just a brainstorming session. There are no bad ideas in brainstorming. And then you'll have some that are built on real stories and embarrassing antics, some that are just plays on their names, and then some are just spoofer names or just really terrible names that would be normal names in the Navy and the Marine Corps. The Air Force, they are the spoofer names. And one of the most popular ones was always Shave Dog's Ass. So one day we're talking about, well, I'll let Snooze take it from here.
Okay. I don't know where the idea, I mean, like this was on, I mean, it's on the second album, so we didn't come up with this in Iraq, but it was, I guess it's one of those, like, you know, like we would all sit there and be like, Shave Dog's Ass, Shave Dog's Ass. And none of us were serious. There's no way we're going to name anybody Shave Dog's Ass. And I don't know. Again, I was just looking at him, I was like, but what if we did? Like, what if we did? That guy would have to be, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, like it would.
Yeah, he'd be the greatest wingman that ever lived.
What if? Yeah. And so.
I said, Snooze, you should totally write a song about
and the way you tell it, and I'm just going to tell, I just, you know, like I said, your memories are better than mine. Apparently I just went off and like 2 days later it was like, I got it.
It was no shit. I was like, Snooze, that would be great. What? You should write a song. It was like coin operated Snooze. You should write a song about the legend of this amazing wingman. And he's like, okay, give me a couple days. He comes back.
It was such a great idea. Like the world's greatest wingman. Like it just, I don't know. It's like, oh, And I just started thinking about all the it made it very easy to write, because it was like, what do they always complain about? You burnt the corn, the coffee's crap. You know what I mean? Like, why are you always going blind? So I'm just, it literally was just a list of complaints, and I just reversed them. So this guy never did anything that all these people complained about. He never went blind. He made the perfect corn. He made the coffee, all this other stuff. And then I, whatever, 12 years of Catholic school, I was just like, all right, now we're going to get into the dirty shit. And I'm like, all right, what else would he do on a TDY? I'm like,
It's perfect.
And
perfect.
So, now my favorite part of that though was I came up with this chord progression that I handed him. Like, could you? Because normally a guitar solo is like, 10 to 20 minutes or 10 to 20 seconds long. So it's not very long or whatever. And I kind of handed him something like, could you do like a solo? And that was my favorite part of it, was that I handed him just a blank slate, and he wrote what I thought was the greatest guitar. I mean, I still am in love with it to this day. the way he did that. So the way that song just came together, I do love.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Now, what is my favorite song? That, oh man, I still back in the LPA just still gets me. I love the fact that we wrote that song in 6/8 time, which I know it's a little technical, but it's a waltz. It's a, swing your beer, mug or whatever kind of thing. And I loved his harmonica on it. His harmonica solo was amazing. That one has a special place in my heart. And then, Two's Blind is right up there with just that song wrote itself. That was so autobiographical. I had the worst sortie ever. I went blind 3 times, and the instructor was just like, knock it off, we're going home. This is just awful. And I went back to my room, and
That's awesome. That is awesome.
It's good
All right.
therapy.
I know you guys got to run, but Crazy Pete says, y'all know the song Herky Cannonball? I'd love to hear your cover one day. Never heard of a Herky Cannonball.
I can't say that I do.
Yeah. Trip, you ever heard of that?
Never heard that.
Yeah. Aaron says,
Is that online somewhere?
yeah, we'd have to YouTube it. Ranks up there with Mad Dog 2020, which much better than that. Vladimir Vutin, not Russian intelligence, says, do you still want to take off from carrier? I have carrier you could operate. Good condition, slightly used, ramp included. I'll trade you for B-21. We get very high-profile people on this channel.
Yeah, we got some viewers.
Snooze, did you learn golf from the same person I did? I'm at 300,000 swings and still can't break 90. And then It's Eric says, Snooze and Trip, if you remember Kevin Mongo Jens, he flew with you guys way back when. Sure. I'm his son and just got selected to fly Fat Amy. Love the show, guys. You need to be the one writing songs.
Nice.
Tell Mongo hello. That's awesome.
That is great. Hell yeah.
Fat Amy.
Aaron says, Snooze, my first wife didn't give a shit about my superior flying skills either. Ripping her off. Tim would like to know if you're allowed to share your call signs on the show.
Oh.
The origin stories.
Poor Trip. This story is so bad.
It's so terrible, and I had nothing to do with it. And here's what I'm going to do. That I'll only tell in person, and it's going to make you think that it's really amazing. And and maybe it is, but you're going to have to hit me up in person. But Snooze has a really good story.
Mine's pretty good. So we were doing a pit and go. So that's where you and we had the first takeoffs of the day. So we're taking off at sunrise, and that means probably like, if that's a 7:15 a.m. takeoff, you're probably showing up at the squadron at 5 a.m. kind of thing. So you show up, you brief for 2 hours, then you go fly your first sortie, come back, and you go to the hot pits where they're refueling the jets while the engine's still running. And then you go fly another sortie. Well, I don't know. They didn't have a good system set up or something because, I think, if you got one squadron that's flying air to air and another one that's flying, like a longer mission type, for whatever reason, we all basically landed at the same time. And so there was just a long line of jets waiting to get refueled. And so technically in the F-16, you weren't supposed to set your parking brake right after landing because, like that basically applies full pressure on the brakes. They get real hot and whatever, but I wasn't going to sit there and stand on the brakes. I mean, it was, like I said, I was like 8 in line to get refueled, and it was taking a long time. So I just went to hell with it. And I set my parking brake, 30-degree reclined seat. I just went, and I laid my head back, and I was out. And when it was my turn to refuel, the poor, the guy out there is sitting there like this. And I am out cold.
Oh, dude.
And so they're sitting there screaming on the radio like, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I went, what? Huh? What? Oh, yeah, sure. And I just act like nothing had happened and just, tagged it off. So, yeah. I earned that one 100%.
Perfect.
And
wow.
the other one too, and I think Digger was running the naming ceremony when this happened, and so Snooze was actually a mode of the radar, and it's like the radar's on, but it's not transmitting. And they're like, that is your personality. Like we know you're there, but you're not transmitting,
Unless it's in the form of dirty music.
I know.
That is awesome.
So,
all right, last two, and then we'll let you guys get back to being awesome. Admiral General Aladdin, not Iranian spy, says, Gonky, thanks for secret access to Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. You are very loyal. On unrelated note, do you guys have deep intel on how to start these F-16s? I don't know.
You just got to get the right keys. That's all it is.
There it is.
Just a couple switches, you'll be fine. And then the last one, Aching Dragon says, is your whiskey sourced from other distilleries for your current release or all your products made in-house? I've heard of other companies source whiskey when aging their in-house blends early on. Wow, that is a very specific question.
That is very detailed. What company do you work for? No.
So
Winglor, again, we're at Virginia Distillery Company in Virginia. So we source our American single malt from the distillery here, and we bottle everything here. We source the bourbon from another distillery, but it's not just this arbitrary choice of where we pull it. We have a really good master blender who we call Ninja, Amanda Beckwith, and she is like a connoisseur of connoisseurs. She has the talent and knows how to get the right things. So that's how we were able to bottle such a great product that hopefully folks are interested in and buy off the website. We've got 2 what they call expressions in the industry, our bourbon and then our American single malt. The bourbon is called Bogey Dope, which is an aviation term that we can get into. And then our American single is called Nickel on the Grass. Those 2 are our initial offerings that will be out online. And we have a number of other and types of spirits that you're going to see rolling out over the next several months. But those are the first two. And we're excited that that's being bottled this week and will be launched real quick. Other thing that I'll bring up is one of the cool things about fighter pilots is that they're all arrogant like us, and they all want to be owners of whiskey companies. So while being a fighter pilot might not get you what you want, being a whiskey owner actually may.
Definitely
and
does.
There are ways to do this. So if you go to our website or you go to the link that I think you'll put down in the link below, Net Capital is the platform that we're using to offer ownership of Winglor to get as many ambassadors, as many folks out there in the community to be a part owner of this really cool brand that we think is more tied to culture than anything else. And it just happens to be underpinned by some really good ultra premium spirits that are made right here in Virginia at Virginia Distillery, as well as our Southern Distillery where we are sourcing the bourbon. So we're really proud of it. We hope that a lot of folks can join us. We've had some really cool launch events where me and Snooze and the band have played Dos Gringos shows. We're doing it again, like we said, in Tailhook. And if you do want to join the squadron and be an owner, you'll get one of these.
Oh, nice. Look at that owner.
And I feel like I just got coined by Easy, so I have to show that I have mine.
Crap.
And Snooze, you just got coined, so I hope yours is within arm reach.
Rocky.
There you go.
Oh, dude, no.
Right here.
So
mine are all Brett back.
I
can't quite
you
reach
guys,
them right there.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
gentlemen, it has been a
you.
pleasure. They say
awesome.
never meet your heroes, but this time it worked out. So you guys, awesome. Thank you for what you've done for the fighter pilot community. Thank you for your music. Thank you for what you continue to do for the community in general. I hope you guys will be friends of the show and come back anytime.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Gents, thanks for
hopefully
being here.
meet-
Yes, absolutely. We'll have to, like I said, birthday. I mean, just saying, like birthday parties. All right, gents, thanks so much. We'll see you.
You guys have a
next
good
time.
night. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.
Gonky.
Man,
I know.
did we just really chat with Dos Gringos?
I know, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome,
That
dude.
was some good stuff right there.
I know, man. I've since I knew we were doing this,
Are you hammered?
No, I'm not hammered. I'm not hammered. Although I did have a little bit of their bogey dope and nickel on the grass, and it is good.
Yeah,
it's good
stuff. It's good stuff.
No, man, just listen to their music all week, because I used to listen to it all the time, and then life happens, and now it kind of takes me back, and it makes me laugh and cry.
Makes me sad. Makes me sad.
It
Reminds
makes me
me of
laugh
the
and
old
cry.
days, the good old days, which is good. You want something that can trigger emotions.
I know. I'm hooked now. I can't stop. I can't stop listening.
Awesome dudes, man. Great music. I mean, that's lightning in a bottle is what that ends up. I mean, they had a great partnership and did something with it, and it became something really special.
Well, I was telling my wife has no idea who Dos Gringos is, so I was trying to tell her about it. She's like, "Who do you have on?" And she's like, "Oh, it's just like fighter pilot songs." I was like, "It's actually really good. They're talented. They're talented guys. It's actually good music." So,
great musical talent on top of great writing that is appropriate. I mean, even today, it still holds up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that I can't believe it's been 25 years, though. Good Lord.
Dude, the fact that the Navy listens to some Air Force, that says a lot.
Well, what I was thinking is it's now the culture. Like they were talking about, Vietnam or whatever.
Yeah.
Which all the Desert Storm guys were like, what about us? But, there was Vietnam. Today, it's them. Because you can't go to a fighter squadron bar without hearing Dos Gringos playing with pirated CDs, more than likely, or MP3s or whatever.
Burned, just burned.
Yeah. It's but great dudes. All right, we got to catch up, Gonky, because we actually have topics to cover tonight.
Yeah, we do.
And it's at a car from Turkey. Sorry we took so long to get to you. I tried to save the ones that were not directly related to them because they had to roll.
Yeah.
for the end. Hi from Turkey. Nice to see another awesome show at 3:00 in the morning.
Thank you, man. Great having you.
Wicked Spider Black says, hello all to another Monday DCS with your friends. Gonky, are you ever going to do DCS again?
I'm trying to
should ask him a DCS question. They'd have all kind of music to write about DCS.
I'm trying to find a system, if that's what we call it, or an airplane, a DCS plane.
And to clarify, not one in your own home, because you say your wife would divorce you.
Yes.
So, because I know somebody would be like, hey, I got this one. We could build you one, Gonky.
Oh, I know. I've had people reach out, and I have to tell them that I'm actually not the king of my castle. So
you might need counseling. Matt says thanks. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Tobias says, have any of you gents seen our Gripen E? It might not be Tobias. This is in Sweden, so
close enough.
I apologize if I mispronounced it. Have any of you guys seen our Gripen E perform at Riyadh this year? I'm also glad we decided to invest in a few A330 together with the DK for air refueling. I did not, but now I'm going to go look at it because that sounds awesome. Indigo Blade says, your show is awesome. Just got a Primax Crystal Light flying the DCS F5E. Oh, too soon. Feels just like flight school. Sad panda.
I know.
Sad panda. But cool. Apparently they're sending me their new Super or whatever to try out. So we'll see. Vladimir Vutin, not Russian intelligence, says, want a job? My last guys fell out of a window. You could fly the new Felon, Gonky.
I don't want to fall out of a window, dude. By accident.
If you have parachute.
I don't think that's part of it.
Yeah. All right. We've got breaking news from your old stopping, or you were north or south?
North, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
From your old stopping ground. Why not? Why not?
Freezing the reason.
Delta Jet. No, Gonky. It was not Delta Jet. It was a SkyWest Jet and B-52 nearly collide. Yeah, we're going to change that. Which I don't... Roll the tape, Douglas. We'll decide if they nearly collided.
Yeah, look, I'm just going off of what the breaking news was. See,
I want to. You know, where's the thing? The 20-minute spiel from the guy.
Oh,
I want to hear Captain
SkyWest's
debrief to the passengers.
Doug, it's in there with the links.
Hey, Doug, you're back.
Yeah, I'm here. Let me see if I can find the link.
It should be right there, man. I put it with
FlightAware?
No, the x.com.
Aha.
I think. Like a finely oiled machine. Oh, dude.
Yeah, there it is.
There
it is. Right.
There it is.
You should sign up for X.
For those of you on the right-hand side, you probably saw the airplane kind of sort of coming at us. Nobody told us about it, and so we continued and air traffic. There's no radar here, so the tower is controlled, or excuse me, the tower does everything visually, and so they said report about 6 miles from the airport. So we did that. I think he realized that the spacing wasn't going to work, and he said turn right. And I looked over, and there was an airplane, which those of you on the right-hand side, I thought it was a small airplane like the one you see at the airport right now doing touch and goes. And he said, turn right. I said, there's an airplane over there. And he says, turn left. And then by the time we read back to clearance, looked over and saw the airplane that was kind of coming on a converging course with us. And so given his speed, it was a military, I don't know how fast they were going, but they were a lot faster than us. I felt it was the safest thing to do to turn behind it. So sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise. This is not normal at all. I don't know why they didn't give us a heads up, because the Air Force Base does have radar, and nobody said, hey, there's also a B-52 in the pattern. Long story short, it was not fun, but I do apologize for it, and thank you for understanding. It was not a fun day at work.
Oh, and the clapping. Do we have the article that called it the Mega B-52? That was probably the first one you had, Doug.
It was the first one.
While you do that, I would like to share the flight path if my potato internet will support it. Do you see this? You do not.
Yeah.
Do you see this now?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the flight track. You can see here, this is the SkyWest flight. The B-52 was squawking and then not. So at this time, we don't actually have the squawk, but they're doing 2,800 feet MSL, 3,000, so descending, and then he turns right and then just maintains that heading. Okay.
Well, they were doing a flyover, right? The B-52.
Well, no, this is the SkyWest.
Oh, this is SkyWest. Okay, sorry.
But we don't have the B-52 going. SkyWest, which that picture was wrong. It's an E-175, not whatever that RJ was. And then they make a turn. They go to downwind. They try again. They land. And then, Doug, you've got the article that I can't pull up that says near miss. God, I hate that word. Forced a pilot to yank his Delta regional jet into a sharp turn when a hulking B-52 bomber suddenly crossed his landing path, according to multiple reports. The flight was lining up to Minot, North Dakota sky on Friday, according to ABC News. It was an aggressive maneuver. This is not normal at all. We don't have the other article. There's too many articles on this. The B-52 was doing a flyover of some little event, and somebody got video,
fair, right? State fair.
Yeah, the fair that was right next to it, and allegedly they crossed flight paths. Gonky, what do you think about this?
Well, I watched the video that was taken from the fair because the B-52 was doing a flyover for that for the state fair event, and I mean it's a very grainy video. To me, it doesn't really look like. I mean, if they didn't know the B-52 was there, then yeah, I think it's probably too close for comfort. But hey, that captain did what he thought he needed to do. I mean, he's sitting all the way on the left side, looking all the way to the right, sees the B-52, a hulking B-52, and decides to maneuver his airplane. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he did, other than the long debrief that he gave to the passengers there. I just always think there's some sort of liability you always have to watch out for, because I mean, if I don't know how aggressively he maneuvered the airplane, but I mean, I don't know, if somebody got hurt, scared, or something like that, there may be issues. You owe the passengers an explanation, but man, in my mind, probably a little too much detail. I don't know. You agree? Disagree?
Do you?
I mean, a little bit.
I've responded to TCAS RAs and we didn't tell them anything. We just did the thing and moved on with our lives.
So have I, but they've been gentle enough to where
I don't know what what do you do? 25 degrees of bank? Like what does this aggressive maneuvering mean? I mean, anything on a go around is going to be kind of a little bit, unsettling to most passengers. Remember, it's VFR on a visual approach. You're a sea to avoid.
Yeah.
The B-52 was probably talking to approach more than likely, or at least on a UHF frequency. We've talked about that being an issue with like the DCA crash where we're on separate frequencies, or the T-38s that caused the issue at DCA shortly after doing a flyover, very similar to this. I mean, so this is anytime you have a major incident, it's going to be an emphasis item, right? So I don't fault anybody in this, because we don't have the B-52 pilot side. We don't know under what control they were operating. We don't even know where they were. We don't know, because like I saw a title on YouTube that said, missed by inches. It's like, well, how many inches?
Yeah.
Like what was the
40,000?
Is this a hatter? Right. Is this something that's going to provoke something? Because right now, as we make this video, the only information we have is that a captain made a very long-winded PA to explain a go-around because he was sent around by tower. So he had insufficient spacing with the aircraft in front of him. The whole sequence of events started with him and the aircraft in front of him, not the B-52. The B-52 wasn't a part of this and was flying over the airfield until he turned right and saw it. That's the way I understand it. And then we have the ADS-B data off the SkyWest aircraft, and we have what the passenger recorded of the long-winded PA. I hate the PA. I know some passengers like it, makes them feel better, but in this world where, as we now see, everything goes viral, you are setting yourself up for problems, carpet dances with chief pilots, all kind of stuff when you put all this out there. You know, go file your ASAP, go do everything with the proper safety channels. But there was a thing with an American Airlines A319 or whatever that flew through a hailstorm, and the captain decided to hold a press conference after. It does not, it just never works. It doesn't look good. You are not trained in this. We're trained in making PAs that say flight attendants prepare for takeoff, flight attendants prepare for landing. Here's the weather at the field. We're not trained in that. And controlling a message can sometimes get away from you when you start with these long-winded diatribes right after something that clearly at least startled him, because you can tell he's a little bit, you know, his feathers are ruffled by it, which maybe, you know, I'd be upset too if I got vectored into a big honking B-52. On that note, SkyWest pilot, right? So probably civilian trained pilots do not do well with mill sizing, with
That's
understanding what is, you know, what does a B-52 look like at a mile? You know, you and I, you know, we talked about this on the last episode, T-38 versus other aircraft. They always had trouble seeing us. F-16 versus F-18. In the Viper, I was having trouble, you know, people were having trouble seeing me. It's hard for people to gauge these things when they're not used to flying in relation to other aircraft. If their entire world is in a controlled environment, sometimes it doesn't, you know. Now, granted, line of sight rates are universal. If the thing's moving, you're probably not going to hit it. If it's stationary in your canopy and getting bigger, that's a bad thing, right? In your windscreen.
Right.
So we don't know, but I don't think we should know. I think this is a non-event and it should not be newsworthy. And I got an email, actually, no kidding, to the mover mailbag that says, you know, flying is unsafe. I'm like, well, is it though? Because the error, regardless of the PA and whether that was a good idea and everything, the errors were trapped. We're not talking about a collision.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, this could have been 2 miles, a mile. Like, we don't have that data, but everyone got off that plane safely. No one was hurt. The errors were trapped. Aviation is still safe. And I actually responded to the guy. I said, name something safer than aviation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, the you know, obviously the captain and his first officer and the controller, they're all professionals, right? So like you said, man, we're, you know, you can't have absolutely everything scripted out, right? Aviation is kind of a dynamic, fast moving ball game. So, you know, we didn't have a collision, right? And like you said, I'd be curious, you know, the B-52 guys is like, hey, who are you guys talking to? Did they call out any traffic? You know, and if they're doing if B-52 guys are doing a flyover, surely I'm certain there's you know, there's deconfliction built into their flyover. They're just not out there flat hatting it, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure what was probably the wild card or the first in that error chain was the turn right and then turn left, you know, which could be a control issue where left would have easily deconflicted them, right, put them right in that path. And because we don't know which way the B-52 guys were or girls or whatever were going, but I would like to know the truth data before I say, oh, they almost, you know, this could have been another DCA. Like, what was the missed distance? What was the maneuvering that he had to do? I mean, to a guy who flies straight and level most of his career,
right,
30 degrees of bank is now, you know, oh, I had to click off, you know, what was that? What did that look like? So,
well, his sorry, dude.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say his long-winded description of what happened is why it's even in the news.
Well, and Rain Man says, who's a Herc pilot, says, ladies and gentlemen, we had to maneuver to deconflict with some local traffic. We'll be on deck soon. Done.
Yeah, perfect.
Or, you know, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the inconvenience. We had to go do a go around, and we're going to come back and land safely. when we get on the ground, hey, sorry for the delay. We still got you here on time. Thanks for flying SkyWest. See ya. You know, and then, hey, FO, write down the notes. You got the time?
ASAP.
Yeah, we're going to ASAP this.
It's bad for business if your speech sort of kind of scares the passengers.
Hawkeye says, would there be a NASA report? ASAP covers NASA. So if you file an ASAP, it automatically covers you with a NASA report. You're right. And that's a great point, Gonky. It is bad for business in the sense that
dude.
We have just had, and that's why that email came to me, is we just had Air India. We just had the Jeju report, which we're about to talk about. We just had the DCA incident. We've also everything that
near miss thing. Yeah.
Everything that comes out becomes this national headline thing. And people glom onto it and say, well, it's unsafe. And it's not. It's not. Yeah. I mean, think about this. If that is unsafe, dude, how many times in your car did you have to swerve to avoid, an 18-wheeler tire that shredded in the interstate, or a car that pulled out in front of you or something? You know what I mean? Like,
dude. Yeah.
Swerving to avoid something is not therefore unsafe. Good on the SkyWest dudes and girls or whatever it was if they avoided a mishap. Good on them.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see the rest of the data.
Yeah. And like I said, man, I mean, if he wouldn't have made a long speech about it, this would probably not even be in the news. You file your ASAP. Hey, had no idea B-52 was coming. Oh, he was 1,000 feet above us doing it. Okay, cool. I mean, when you watch the video, you could barely see the CRJ, but like the B-52 with the 8 engines that are pumping out like straight up black coal. I mean, it's
B-52 is a big airplane, man.
Huge,
you see one of those things, like people don't realize how big of an airplane that is.
And
like,
the exhaust. Dude, the 8-engine exhaust, you can see it forever.
I've never gotten to fly around a B-2, but I've gotten to fly around a B-52, and that is when you're a little jet. Whew.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Good thing no one got hurt, though. Thank God no one got hurt.
Yeah. But in this world, we aren't allowed to be scared anymore.
Oh, man,
we have to clutch our pearls.
Yeah, I guess. It is what it is, man.
I don't want to downplay it. There is validity to it. I mean, a last minute maneuver could have saved the DCA thing, right? I mean, they tried, but
yeah. I mean, dude. I mean, the thing with the captain there is he just he didn't know the B-52 was there, which I can see. I mean, that's definitely a foul. I mean, that's definitely a part of it. He's not in the wrong.
Same thing happened to DCA. I mean,
exactly.
No traffic point out to the RJ that ended up, getting hit by the helicopter. And they, if they had more of a warning, they may have been able to avoid it as well. They didn't have any. I mean, they saw it the last possible second.
Yeah. Hey, I think he did it. I think he did a fantastic job. If you're too cautious, you might catch a little grief. If you're not cautious enough, you might end up dead, right? So you always, especially, man, in commercial aviation, man, keep everything right in the center of the envelope, man, right?
Yeah, for sure. Doug, what are you telling me? Doug's got a chart.
If you want to go to it, it really makes the point.
I like charts.
This is deaths per 100 million passenger miles.
We don't have 2025.
Yeah, you got data like
this could be the deadliest year of them all.
This is the only one that airlines show up on, and that's the airlines versus cars.
Oh, wow.
There's your proportions.
Where's the airlines? Why are they both green?
It's that little tiny blue dot at the bottom.
Oh, that's blue?
Yeah. And it doesn't show up on any of the other ones.
2009 was rough.
There weren't enough deaths to register.
2009 was not a
good year. Yeah. I mean, Dude, driving to the airport's more dangerous than flying the airplane.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
especially
for sure.
on the causeway.
100%, dude. Yeah, especially on I-10.
Jack Connell says, "Do you guys see the video about the Avalon air show crash you talked about a couple months ago? Some crazy airborne onboard GoPro footage."
We didn't.
Somebody sent me that actually. I didn't watch it. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, maybe. Actually, you're not going to be here next week?
I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it.
Okay. Wags is going to be here.
I'll make it.
All right. Speaking of passengers.
Yeah.
These titles, Gonky. Maybe I should be in charge of these. So, allegedly, do you have the BBC link up, Doug?
Reuters.
Let me look for it.
Yeah, it's this. I think the BBC actually quotes them. Evidence shows Jeju air pilot shut off less damaged engine before crash, sources say. So basically, I covered this on my channel yesterday. Is this now the BBC? Is that what happened? Victims' families criticize report blaming pilot error for the Jeju crash. Basically, they sent off the engines to. You can scroll down, Doug. They sent off the engines to France because it's a joint venture. CFM is actually a joint venture from Safran and GE. Yeah, back in March, they sent it for analysis, and the board found that a pilot had turned off the left engine, which had no defects, instead of the right engine, which was severely damaged by the bird strike. So they looked at it, and I know there was some speculation about if the left engine had taken birds. Whether it did or it didn't, it had no damage. So yes, it could have taken birds, and they could have found feathers, but it wasn't enough to damage any of the blades. And they have found that the engine, and they can tell, right, whether the blades are turning and impact and scarring and all that stuff when it actually hits. They have determined that the number one engine, which Gonky, you pointed out when we watched the video, the number one engine seemed to not have any heat blur, and the number two engines seemed to. And the bereaved families are now basically upset about that because pilot error kind of changes the metric from their legal battles. They're also still going after the chief executive, Kim eBay, for professional negligence. And then they're also investigating the concrete barrier at the end of the runway. But the preliminary report had to be pulled. So we actually don't have the preliminary report because I guess they showed it to the families. The families got mad and they decided to pull it. But all things point to a go around. So birds that they saw, a go around was initiated. They still flew through birds, causing a compressor stall in the number two engine, the right side on the go around. And then as they were turning, someone in the cockpit shut down the number one engine. The number two engine continued to run until impact. Gonky, your thoughts?
Yeah, so there's a couple articles out there, and it was a little discouraging, man, because right, they released some info. First, they ran it past the families, and the families got mad. And I actually think it's by direction probably of some of the attorneys, is from what I read. So then they're like, hey, no, give those back. They're not official because, like you said, the data and evidence, and they stated pretty clearly in the articles that the CVR data, like the info that they got from the jet, it's pretty conclusive that like you're saying, they shut down the wrong engine. The focus, they still want to put the focus on the wall at the end, which certainly didn't help anything. But the alleged, per the reports that were taken back, report is that basically it was a mishandled situation by the crew, and that's not going over so well with the survivors, which it irritates me that the investigators can be, I don't know if bullied is the right word, or swayed is the right word, but when you're trying, we're not trying to be like, it's your fault, pilots, you guys are done. Like, the truth needs to be out there so all of us can learn from it and not do it again. I mean, even their pilots union, the Jeju pilot union, was, all mad. Oh, they're blaming it on us. But, I think if you're a pilot and you're not smart enough to realize that, dude, I I could have done something like that. Like, I'm perfectly capable of making these mistakes. I mean, there's a lot of, in my mind, there's a lot of value in the learning that can be done from, other people's mistakes. Cause this one killed a lot of people. You can blame the wall at the end of the runway, but dude, like we showed when we went through this all day, if the wall wasn't there, there's another fence past it, right? For the perimeter of the airport. I mean, come on, man. I mean, do you think at every airfield in America, there's like 5 miles of nice flat grass after the end of the runway? No, there's stuff, right? Because you should be able to land, right? So
that's this comment's wrong, by the way. There are plenty of airports with obstacles at the end of them.
100%. Yeah. Gas stations, schools. I mean, dude, you name it, right? So, airplanes and flights are designed and planned so you have the performance to take off and stop and land on these, on runways, even if you lose an engine or have other emergencies, right? So, we'll have to wait, till the official report comes out. But, the bit of info that we got from the one that they try to release is pointing towards, a mistake by the pilots. And hey, guess what? This is not the first time in the 7-3 that flight crew has shut down the wrong engine and killed people. They had the first one, I think, was 7-3-300 in England. I can't remember the name of what is it? It's the British Midland Flight 92. They shut down the wrong engine and the airplane crashed short of the runway and killed some people. And then there's another one, move around in Hawaii, I think. All right, where they shut down the wrong engine. The jet landed in the water.
They'd shut it down. They brought it to idle and left there.
Right.
Misidentification of the damaged engine after leveling off the airplane, reducing thrust, and their only use of the damaged engine for thruster and the remainder of flight, resulting in a unintentional descent and forced ditching in the Pacific Ocean. Contributed access were ineffective CRM, high workload, and stress, which is a very common factor in all of them.
Yeah. So, the idea that, the reputation of these pilots is at stake. I mean, it's happened before, so, I mean, it's hammered into my head when I was first learning multi-engine airplanes. It's crucial to identify the correct engine, because guess what? It has happened in the past, and I will tell you, it will happen again, unfortunately. So, I'm disappointed that the investigation team feels like they need to pander to the, even though I'm not crapping on their, it's a terrible time for the families and stuff, but dude, we just get the facts out there like you're supposed to. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Part of me wanted to say, well, it's cultural, right? Because in some cultures we've seen with like Air India in this, where it's almost a disgrace to say that it's the pilots. And so nobody wants to blame. They want to blame third parties, inanimate objects, all that stuff. But then I look at our response to our own mishap, where everybody in the DCA thing wanted to go after Rebecca Lobach, right? And I think it's not that. I think people want to dehumanize factors. They want to take human factors and turn them into a boogeyman. In that case, it was DEI, because they said, well, they ignored the fact that the IP was a dude sitting in the left seat.
Right.
And all the other factors that played into that. And we still don't have an official final report, but we kind of have a good idea. But they went after that, the hot button issue at the time, which was DEI. Air India, they're going after Boeing, right? Because there's no way someone intentionally or even unintentionally shuts fuel cutoffs. I mean, wild theories, software, all kind of hacking, all this stuff, Boeing, conspiracy, all that stuff. Same thing here. The instinct, I think, and I'm honored because, people hold pilots to a higher standard, and they don't want to believe that pilots are human and make mistakes. But the reality is, you can't watch a Mayday or air disasters or anything like that without seeing human factors of humans crashing perfectly good aircraft.
Yeah, they don't care where you're from or what culture you are.
Or at least aircraft that could have managed to safely get back on the ground. So when it comes to stuff like this, I believe that it should be more like what the military does, where you have an AIB and an SIB. The SIB is safety privileged information. You get the facts, you get the data, and it's shared within safety privileged channels. That's where you get the meat of the mission. Then the AIB is the lawyers and the JAG and all that stuff, and that's what gets publicized. And it doesn't get publicized until it's official. Now, we live in an information-intensive world, and we're guilty of it just like any other channel where we're reporting on it. So obviously, we are part of that cause. But when you have knee-jerk nonsense that comes from it, there were some with the DCA stuff, like everything became a real big thing. Boeing thing, everybody's glomming on to the TCMA or the other Boeing issues, the fuel cutoff switches and stuff like that. Like every little thing the public wants to jump on, but you're talking about people that are unqualified jumping on stuff, and then they're going to their representatives, and the representatives are like, we have to do something. And it's like, you don't have to do something. If you put the chart back up, you'll see that this is so exceedingly rare. Change for the sake of change is not the answer. I have seen so many comments like, well, we need to start putting cameras in the cockpit. And I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but it's like, that wouldn't have changed it. That would not have fixed it. It wouldn't have solved anything.
Yeah.
We're going to know what happened without it.
You can't. There comes a point where like you just can't. It's hard to regulate yourself. I mean, you can make laws and rules and regulations all day, but I mean, the human factor is always going to be there as long as humans are doing stuff.
Well, and even when it's not, because you take humans out, then you get the software errors, you get all the other
created by humans.
Yeah, I mean, root cause is always going to be human. Now, to this specific mishap, there's an error chain to it. I've seen some argue for and against. Well, as soon as they got the bird report, they should have just landed. I personally am in that party for the most part. Like I know go-arounds are free, but if I'm stable target configured at 500 feet or whatever they were at, and I see the runway, dude, you're in a dirty, low altitude situation. Go around is not gonna avoid birds that well. Hindsight being 2020. The second being, if I hit the bird, I'm gonna just land, and that's a struggle when we do training, because everybody wants to do a go around. Something's not right. Let's do a go around, because that's what we're kind of triggered to do. But sometimes it's like, dude, you lost an engine inside the final approach fix. Just land it. You don't have to go around. You have to do anything. You have to do checklists. The second piece to this is like you've talked about, no fast hands in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Slow down. I don't know what their procedures are. My airline has gotten away from memory items. We use the QRC now. But you're not doing the QRC until you are cleaned up. Well, I take that back. If you're doing a go around, it's until you're safely away from the ground, gears up, flaps retracted, all that stuff. If you're on fire, that's different. And I don't know what fire indications they had, but for a simple compressor stall, dude, you got all day. You got all day to figure out what engine you're shutting down, because there is no hurry. That thing is pop, 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 fine, whatever. Let it do its thing. It's only when it's engine fire severe damage that you're even going to a memory item or a QRC. And then once you get to that, and I know this is probably related to that, they just came out with a pilot read file that's like, okay, we're going to confirm. We're going to have 2 double confirms now to make sure everybody confirms. But for that engine thing, dude, they had 3 opportunities to trap that error if that's what happened. Because the first one is to take the auto throttle for that affected engine, confirm, off. So that's like step 1. So they both had to say, in this case, they went both number 1. And then the second one is throttle the affected engine to idle. That's the second one. And then fuel cutoff. And then if they believe they had a fire, then you're going to fire handle. And once the fire bottles pop, that engine's done.
They did.
You know?
That's what I read.
Did they pull the
That's what
fire
I read.
handle?
I read
Yeah,
the fire
then
handle is pulled, so that you cannot start it. Restart
that's
it.
it. You know, that engine's done. Now, even if the fire handle had not, 737 bleed starts. So you're either cross bleeding or off the APU. So, dude, you know, you don't have time to restart it once you figured it out. Like in that time that they had to make that teardrop. Now, what I said in my other video, which I believe, I think the captain was flying because you can see the FO's hand. I think the captain was flying to the landing. Amazing job of energy management getting it back to the runway. Once he was in that position, I mean, that's some incredible flying. It's unfortunate that it didn't work. If they could have gotten the gear down, it might have helped him. You know, I mean, you could tell as a Viper guy doing the teardrop thing. There are no guarantees for off-runway operations.
Dude, or belly land.
If you depart the prepared surface of an airport, that's why it was in a fighter in an eject situation. The only reason it's not an eject situation in this is because you can't. But the people that keep saying, well, we need to go after the berm that was concrete or whatever, it's not made for you to depart the prepared surface at 180 knots, 170 knots, 160 knots. Any speed where you go off the end is not made, because that thing would have, I mean, it would have been a fireball. You might have had a dozen people survive instead of 2 if they didn't hit that thing. But like you talked about, even beyond that, there was another concrete wall, you know, that by the road. I mean, there's more stuff. Departing the prepared surface is not something an airliner can withstand.
No, dude.
And not at high speed.
No.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they release something. And I mean, we want to get the truth, you know, so we don't make the same mistake again. I mean, unfortunately, all those people died, man. You don't want to. I think the aviation industry owes it to them to do a proper investigation and find out what happened. And hey, if it's human error, it's human error, man. I mean, that's how we get better. You're not born perfect, you know.
But I will say that even if it is human error, no matter what it is, doesn't necessarily mean something has to change.
That's true. 100%. Yeah.
People make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, we never found the reason for MH370. Nothing changed as a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't make aviation any less safe.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to just knee-jerk change stuff just because.
Yeah.
Only if it's appropriate. If it's appropriate, hell yeah, let's make it better. But the only way we can do that is, like you talked about, understanding the root cause.
Yep. And getting the truth out, man.
And not worrying about what the lawyers think. Not worrying about what, you know, it's a very unfortunate for the families, but
I know
the truth matters.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's tough.
Yeah.
This is yours. I don't know. Typhoon.
Pull it up, Doug. So it's over in Spain. I think during an air show, man. Have you seen this, right? The photographer out here is taking some pictures of the Typhoon, dude. And this is the final milliseconds of, I believe that's a seagull. And yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's incredible. And then, yeah. Bird. Yeah. And then obviously.
Oh, it took out his windscreen.
Yeah, exactly. So fast jets flying low. I mean, birds. I mean, right. We just got done talking about Jeju and birds. I mean, affects fighters too. This Typhoon took one to the face, so to speak. And yeah, he did lose his the front windscreen there. And obviously, man, it looks like he's going a pretty high rate of speed. So
he's got a lot of alpha on the jet too.
He does.
I know
in the Hornet, there's a a couple different models of windscreens they had, but they are speed rated for, I can't remember the size of the bird, but I imagine the Typhoon is the same. It looks like we have found the design limit. The pilot was able to land, so he's okay. I did see a picture of the jet sitting on the ground, with some maintainers around it with the busted windshield. But Move, have you ever in the F-16? Did you ever hit a bird in the windscreen?
Windscreen, no. I hit one off the side of the jet, like right at where your shoulder is.
Yeah, like a big bird.
Yeah, I was grounded. The thing was grounded for like a week. That was the Dover thing where I hit the bird coming back to land.
Okay. Yeah, I've told the story a long time ago, but we in Malaysia had to worry because it's jungle, right? Big birds, and we do low level all over. And I was doing a low level in a Malaysian D model Hornet, and I was the wingman, and we were flying like about a mile or so a beam, really low over the jungle. And I'm looking to my left in my flight lead, and it just like a tremendous thud. And it felt like somebody took a baseball bat and just smacked the side of the airplane. And I can't remember who I was flying with. I was like, man, what was that? Did you feel that? He's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I felt it. Like, did something come off? Did we break something? I'm like, literally looking, on the stores page, the tanks are still there. I'm looking outside, and I like literally look to the front, and the entire front of the windscreen is red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, dude. And I mean, we were doing like close to 5 bills, right? Like at 200 feet. And I'm like, dude, so I climb it up, man, and I'm like, hey, boys, I'm done. I go home. And yeah, man, I don't know what size bird it was, but I mean, it was all over the front of the windscreen. And it's kind of a funny side story. I got back because, I was worked for Boeing, and I reported, I was like, hey, just so you guys know, I smacked a bird and it, at 500, I told them the exact speed. It was like just under 500 knots, whatever. And I sent it to the engineers, and they sent me a reply the next day. They're like, hey, that windscreen certified for 475 knots. Are you okay? So I was right at the limit of the strength of the windscreen. But when I saw that picture of that Typhoon, I mean, man, can you imagine the noise, the wind noise?
Oh, dude, you went from fat,
Quiet.
dumb, and happy to,
Yeah.
and then probably had guts and blood on him. So he's like, am I bleeding? Is it me?
Yeah.
I would, who?
I mean, we've had Skid on the show, and he lost a canopy on a T-38.
I know. He had hair before that.
He did, which he said it was a loud event, but he at least still had the windscreen blocking the.
Didn't we do another Eurofighter that lost the canopy because of the bird?
I don't think so.
A while back, like a year or two ago.
I don't think so.
Seemed
man.
like I
think this is the first Typhoon I've seen with the.
No, it's a British one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm getting old.
I know. All right. Well, that's enough on that one. Ben says this is going to get me in trouble. I think it's sad people care more about who they can sue and for how much than getting to the truth. What boggles my mind about it is the criminal charges. I mean, really?
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't do that in the United States.
Yeah, dude, there was no malicious intent there. Come on. I mean, that's crazy. Sorry. It's crazy.
Islamic Steak says flying is unsafe. Okay, how many people died of heart disease in the last 2 hours? Cancer, suicide, car accidents, fall and hit your head. We do dangerous things all day. Flying isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Stephen Billings, Air Godzilla, says BBC News has a report that at least 20 are dead after a Bangladeshi Air Force jet trainer crashed in a school campus in Dhaka on Monday. It was an F-7. They experienced a mechanical fault. That sucks, man.
It does, yeah.
And then Ken Murphy Photography. If this airport had an EMAS, would it have made a difference at their speed, assuming it did not veer off the right side? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Because
you didn't have the gear down.
Well, that, and it's made for I don't think it's made for 150 knots.
No. They were cruising, man, when they left the.
You can't even take a trap. Like at the speeds they were going. Well, first of all, you can't take a trap because the gear wasn't down. Right? Has anybody ever taken a arrested landing?
You can take it. You can take a trap with the gear up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but can you take it at I think the barrier shirt speed's 135.
Like at the ship, dude. If you can't get like one of the mains down, you take a trap. Right.
But both of them, like completely gear up.
Yeah. You can do. Yeah. Put the hook down, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you want to talk about this or say goodnight? Because it's 9:30.
What is it?
Air India goes off-roading.
Oh, I don't care, dude. It's up to you. Did you have a mental health minute, Mover?
Get a chainsaw.
We we did. Dude, listen, we're not gonna top Wombat, dude. Off the cuff, that was good.
I don't really have one, dude. I'm so tired right now.
No, it was good, dude. We had Dos Gringos on, which is amazing.
Meet your heroes. That's the mental health minute because that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm still a little starstruck.
Yeah.
It's funny because now when I listen to their songs, I'm gonna be able to. I have their faces, dude. You know?
Well, you got Snooze's face. Trip was 470 feet off the camera, and then in 1.2 pixels.
He was fading in and out, dude.
He went to PowerPoint mode. I felt bad for him because he got frustrated at one point, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I know that feeling, though.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean, dude, but it happens, man. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Sure does. Sure does. Especially live shows, man. You just never.
No.
You
Gotta
never
roll
know.
with it.
I'm disappointed in our fans for not showing out more. We only had like 800 viewers instead of.
It's fine, dude. It
should have been a blowout.
We'll clip it, dude. Make it famous.
I don't know that that's true, but I like your enthusiasm.
That's right.
And then, that's it, man. That's our show.
Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah,
See you next week, right? We got Wags coming back
28th,
and I'm gonna make it. I may look a little tired, but I will be here unless the traffic is bad, and then I'll be late, but I will still hop on.
Well, we'll figure it out, dude.
We will.
Whatever. All right. Hey, Doug, you all right?
Gentlemen, yes, I'm well and happy.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, good talk, Doug. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll see you guys. Have a good night.